But let's get into it tonight because we got a lot. We got a lot to bring you all. A lot of stuff to go over. Some sad news, some funny news on the top of it. But let's start out with we're in playoff baseball, so we're going to run the bases here real quick, and I'm just kind of going to go over how the wild card is. If you didn't follow the Mets Braves game for about a couple nights ago, that was the craziest freaking back and forth I've seen. And the Mets squeaked into the playoffs. They won their first game. So I was kind of go over this briefly here, or are we doing that a little bit later with the postseason stuff?
You can start. I'm going to share this and remove it, and you can go ahead.
Okay, because I forgot that was his. So here's our postseason that we have right now. Detroit won the series. They swept that. KC won. That's actually official now. So KC beat the Orioles, which kind of crazy. Great season for the Orioles. But Detroit is on a heater right now. Who also is on a heater is the New York Mets, which we said, they have the squad. If they get in, they could cause some damage. Right now they're up 3-2 in the bottom of. Oh no, now it's tied 3-3 in the bottom of the eighth. So that could come down to some. I mean, it's between the Mets and the Brewers are solid baseball teams. Right now, the Braves are down 5-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Still anyone's game, but it's not looking good for the Braves. So they kind of lucked out because they took care of business for the Mets. The Mets really had to do a lot of the work because they had a doubleheader on Monday night. They pulled off the first game during Monday during the day. They pulled off the first game, and then they just basically set everyone. So Atlanta got in anyway. So it kind of worked. So Atlanta was kind of in a win-win situation because they knew if the Mets won game one, then they were going. Obviously, they were playing for the wild card spot either one. But if Mets won game one, they typically are going to set. So I think both teams were going to get in anyway. But it just worked out there. So
and if we go back to that game, like Atlanta was the better of the two teams, and they let it get away from them at the end. So it was one of those that they could have clinched in the first game, but I was like, oh well, they'll probably clinch in the second.
Lindor's earning his $400 million, whatever they're paying him, because he's been balling so far. So that's where we stand with the postseason so far. I still the Guardians are playing very well, but Detroit I think is the hottest team right now in baseball. And anyone who knows if you just finally get to if you get a seat at the table, you can make some noise. You're allowed to talk on that situation, and Detroit's looking pretty good.
Have we become all KC fans now because we want the Yankees to lose, right? And
exactly, yes.
A Kansas City fan, so we're a pro Kansas City show right now.
Correct. So this was a best of 5, and then we go to, I think the ALDS is a best of, or I forget. But I think it goes back, and then finally
this wild cards was the best of 3.
Best of 3, thank you.
Yeah.
And then it goes best of 5, and then it's best of 7 throughout for the rest of the playoffs. So basically, it won't be to the ALCS and ALCS. That is a best of 7, and obviously for the World Series, it's the best of 7 there. That way, they don't just keep pushing along. I like that format. That because they added more teams, therefore they can't really sit there and do best of 7 every time, or else we'll be by the time the season ends, it'll be time for baseball again. Just how these series can draw out. So I do like that. But so far, really solid baseball, and why I like playoff baseball because it's just kind of back and forth and it's nuts. And you really see people come out the woodwork for it. So any other? I mean, obviously our two teams. Not making it, so I guess we're go Royals in that regard as far as Tushka is concerned. And
I mean, low key, like I don't like the Mets, but I don't hate the Mets like I hate the Yankees.
The Mets spend a lot of money and get cursed, whereas the Yankees spend a lot of money and they typically do this every year.
They're also my rival.
Right, they're also your rival. So that's what it is. So I mean, it's kind of weird how big of a budget the Mets have, and you still feel like they're always the underdog. It's just weird because they're in the same city as the Yankees, so they're always looked at as the little one in between those two. It's kind of like the White Sox compared to the Chicago Cubs, which the White Sox definitely suck this year.
Did you see the letter that they put out apologizing to their fans?
That's like the first time ever where like they were just apologizing to their fans on how bad it was, and I'm like, refund them. That's how you apologize, because that's just a bad product that you're wanting them to come to.